It's getting around that time of the year where we're getting into draft season, as you know. Our last few weeks, we've done episodes of mock drafts where we did a dynasty one and a keeper one. And, basically when we get into draft season, all fantasy owners are scrambling to get their research done so that they can draft such a good team. Well, you know what I thought? I thought instead of me doing my own research, I'm going to make the guys do it for me. So I made James and Chris go out and give me their top 20 lists.
Fantasy football is about choices. Will it be James's expertise?
He's going to be the only guy on the field to get the ball. He's a 3-down workhorse to get the ball.
Or Chris's insights?
But even if they trade him, I still don't think they're going to become a run-first team.
The choice is in your hands. We give you the option.
What's up, everybody? As you see, I'm back from my vacation or my, week off. So, what's going on? I'm glad to be back. Thank you, James and Chris, for taking over my intros, that host position. How did it feel? Did you guys feel good there?
It was
a good
easy.
time?
I don't know why we paid
easy.
you.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, all right. Easy. Yeah. Okay.
Who let you back on the show? I thought we were going to do this without you.
Oh, all right. Well, I guess, you want me to walk out? I'll take off the headsets. I'll go if you want.
Is it that easy? That's all I have to do?
It might be. No? Okay. Anyways, thank you, gentlemen. But I am back. I missed you guys. I'm so glad to be back. And, I'm really excited to get back into the groove of our fantasy football seasons. It's getting around that time of the year where we're getting into draft season, as you know. Our last few weeks, we've done episodes of mock drafts where we did a dynasty one and a keeper one. And, basically when we get into draft season, all fantasy owners are scrambling to get their research done so that they can draft such a good team. Well, you know what I thought? I thought instead of me doing my own research, I'm going to make the guys do it for me. So I made James and Chris go out and give me their top 20 lists.
Wait, this is for you, not the fans?
Well, it's for me and the fans. But I made you guys do the hard work, which was my plan all along. So it worked out really well. But anyways, you guys made me lists of top 20 players. You made one quarterback list, one running back list, one tight end list, and one wide receiver list. And for today, we are going to be talking about the quarterbacks and the running backs, and we're going to be breaking down these lists, the reasonings of why you guys have these players in these positions, and just a whole bunch of things about that. But here's the kicker of it all. You guys actually haven't seen each other's lists.
Nope.
Only I have seen the list right now, and you guys are both going to be surprised as to what each other picked. So tell me, guys, are you guys ready to go look at these lists finally?
Let's do it, Nick.
All right. Let's get into it. You know what, Chris? We're going to talk about the quarterbacks. Why don't you tell us about your top 20 quarterback list?
All right. Top 20 QBs, of course. I got Patty Mahomes first. It's a pretty easy choice there out the gate. Patty Mahomes with the 101 for quarterbacks, followed by Kyler Murray of the Arizona Cardinals. Number 3, I got Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys. For number 4, I got Aaron Rodgers, Green Bay Packers. Number 5 for me, I got Lamar Miller out of the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson. My bad.
I like Lamar Miller. I think that's a great pick.
Making the cut. making the switch. I got Josh Allen, number 6 from the Buffalo Bills. Russell Wilson, number 7 from the Seattle Seahawks. At number 8, I got Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers. For my 9th quarterback in the 2021 season, I got Matt Stafford. Number 10, I got the ageless wonder, Tom Brady. For the 11th quarterback, I'm ranking Joe Burrow in this spot from the Cincinnati Bengals. Number 12, I got Ryan Tannehill from the Tennessee Titans. 13, I got the number 1 pick in this year's draft from the Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. 14, I got Captain Garbage Time, Matt Ryan. 15, Cleveland Browns quarterback Baker Mayfield. 16, I got Minnesota Vikings quarterback Kirk Cousins. At 17, I got Derek Carr from the Las Vegas Raiders. 18, I got James's favorite player, Daniel Jones from the New York Giants. At number 19, I got Tua Tagovailoa from the Miami Dolphins. And rounding out the list at number 20 from the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph. No, Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger.
I don't think Mason Rudolph would make a top 50 list, let alone top 20.
Exactly.
I mean, if he had Lamar Miller making the list at 4, so I don't know. I mean,
Lamar Miller's probably better at quarterback than Mason Rudolph.
Deep sleeper.
All right, James, why don't you hit us with your list?
all right. Clearly, me and you are thinking the same way. Not so much, apparently. At 1, I got Patrick Mahomes, so we had that one together
Easy
from
choice.
KC. At number 2, I got Lamar Jackson from Baltimore. Number 3, I got Kyler Murray from Zona. Number 4, Josh Allen out of Buffalo. Number 5, my boy Dak Prescott. Number 6, Aaron Rodgers. 7, I've got the ageless Tom Brady.
Ooh.
8, I got Justin Herbert. 9, I got Ryan Tannehill from Tennessee. 10, I got Matt Stafford from the Rams. 11, Russell Wilson from Seattle. 12, Joe Burrow. 13, Matt Ryan. 14, Kirk Cousins. I got Big Ben at 15. I moved him up a little higher than you did. I didn't think about the Mason Rudolph situation there, but Big Ben at 15. 16, I got Baker Mayfield. 17, I got Carson Wentz. The injury is a little scary for me, so we'll see how much he misses. But 18, I got Trevor Lawrence. 19, Jalen Hurts. And 20, I got Tua.
Nice.
Okay. Very interesting. You know what, guys? Honestly, on your list, I mean, now that you've heard them both, now that you've seen them both, what do you guys think? How many do you really think you got that were close? I mean, they're kind of complete differences, but still close in the same area. You want to take a guess on how many you had exactly matched?
I know we got Mahomes.
Yeah, that one's written in pen. Patrick Mahomes, you read
Sure.
in pen. Everyone
Yeah,
else is
sure,
written
exactly.
in pencil making this list. We're moving them all around the place. I didn't see Lamar Miller on
100%.
James's list, so I think that's.
I did not have Lamar Miller. I
No.
missed the boat on Lamar Miller. I'm a little upset on that one.
But
Missing out, James. Missing out.
I think one of the biggest snubs for me is Jalen Hurts. James had him at what, 19?
That's right.
19
Yep.
there. I mean, the consensus around the community is that he's going to be a top 10 quarterback, but I don't see it.
I don't either. But yeah, I mean, did you have him on your list? You had him at what?
I didn't have him.
Or did you not have him at
I
all?
didn't have him in my top
You did
20.
not have him.
No.
Wow.
Now, I personally don't think he's going to finish the season.
And that's what I'm worried about, especially with these trade rumors with Watson. I mean, I'm hearing that he may not be there, and if he ends up in the trade going to Houston, that could be dangerous. And yeah, he throws a lot of people's fantasy seasons out the window. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if they have faith in him. We've talked about him a lot, and I mean, being a Cowboy fan, it's nice to hear that they have no idea what their quarterback situation is like. So I'm okay with that.
I'm definitely liking that part. Yeah, 100%. All right, gentlemen. Well, I went and took your lists. I brought them side by side, and I decided to go and make up a few questions for you guys, sort of getting your reasoning behind how you made your lists and a few other different little knickknacks of what you guys are thinking here.
Knickknacks.
So my first question to you guys is, James, you have Lamar Jackson as the number 2 quarterback overall on your list.
Yep.
Chris, you have him ranked 5th.
Uh-huh.
So I want to know, James, what makes you think that Lamar Jackson will be ranked so high this year?
Well, I was just looking at the way Lamar plays and the team that he has around him. And I think they added a bunch of wide receivers for him this season, which he's never really had the wide receiver corps beside him to help. Adding Sammy Watkins, adding Rashad Bateman to Hollywood, and Mark Andrews there. I just feel that that's given him a huge range of variety now that he can throw to. hopefully he makes the throws. I heard that they did close practices because they didn't want to see if he could make these throws or not. But I'm hoping that he is making these throws, and I've got some high hopes for Lamar. I think this Baltimore offense is going to be a little different this year. You're going to see more throws out of him. I think he could even eclipse the 4,000 yard mark on the season. I think his high was 32 or something there, 33, and so I think he can actually get to the 4, and I do think he'll have 1,000-yard wide receiver this year, and then on top of that, you add his rushing, and you add the fact that he gets those touchdowns and whatnot. I think he goes back to the top. I don't know if he beats Patrick Mahomes, but I think it'll be a close race between him, Mahomes, and Murray, and I have him edging out Murray at number 2.
All right, very interesting. And Chris, what's your reasoning as to why, do you think that James could be right there? He will get to that too, or you think,
I mean, James he could be right if they do add the element of the passing game a little bit more to his arsenal this season. Like he said, they did add Sammy Watkins. They did add Rashad Bateman to Marquise Brown. I don't know if he's going to make it to that next step throwing the ball. That's pretty much the only reason that I keep him out of the top 3. If they don't throw the ball like James says, and he doesn't reach that 4,000 mark, and he regresses a bit in his rushing, he can definitely finish behind the top 5 and drop back to the back end of the top 10. So without that passing, like Dak Prescott has the passing, Kyler Murray has both passing and the rushing. I mean, Lamar could easily be QB1 and he could easily be QB10, all depending on the game script of the Baltimore Ravens.
All right, fair enough. All right, let's get to the second question that I came up with here. Last year's star quarterback, Josh Allen, and I mean, he was on my team. I loved it. He was great. But he ranked 2nd overall in fantasy. And you have both dropped him down your list to 4th and 6th, with nothing really changing on the Buffalo Bills offensively wise. What has made you guys both drop Josh Allen lower and not thinking that he can repeat in that top 3 position?
I moved them back pretty much for the same reason why I moved Lamar back. Josh Allen had a lot of things go right for him last year. His percentage was near 70% in making throws. Zach Moss did have the higher amount of red zone carries throughout the year. So I do think that they will lean on Zach Moss a little bit more this season, running it in between the 10-yard line to the goal line when they're in the red zone. Again, just like Lamar, he has the capabilities to be that QB1. He has the capabilities to be that guy in the NFL. If you're looking at from 6 to 1, they're all, I mean, other than Aaron Rodgers, because he doesn't hold that rushing ability, they all hold the opportunity to finish as QB1. I can't put all these guys as QB1 and just call it a wash or a tie. I had to rank them somehow. So when I was breaking down the offenses and the players added, the players subtracted, and everything else within these offenses, I built a list based on who I thought was going to finish in these spots. Again, I got nothing but good outlook for Josh Allen this coming season. But I think right around QB4 to QB6 is where he's going to finish in the 2021.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Chris on that. And another point is that the other quarterbacks seem to have gotten something to enhance what they had last season. Like if you look at Kyler Murray, he got the wide receivers to add to there. He got AJ Brown, he got Rondell Moore. Sorry, AJ Green and Rondell Moore. Sorry. And
we're doing bad today with these names.
Yeah, me and you are
names
just
are not your forte right now.
Bad with names. That's But yeah, I mean, I think he's going to do a little bit better, obviously, this year, and that'll uptick his numbers. Lamar Jackson, as we just said, he got the extra wide receivers that he added as well. Patrick Mahomes was a little bit hurt last year. I mean, he finished the season hurt. We don't know how much that still put on his totals last season, and I think he'll have a better year with him being 100% healthy this year and put him back at the top. So it's not what Buffalo didn't do in the fact that they did well last year, but it's more the fact that the other guys just seem to be getting a few extra pieces to make them better.
I mean, Emmanuel Sanders isn't going to make Josh Allen better.
I mean, he says that Josh Allen threw him some balls that he's never seen before in his life at training camp, but I don't know. I don't know if that's enough for me to say that that's going to make him over the other guys. And I got him at 4, I think, on my list. So right where you said 4 to 6 is where it is, and we'll see.
Fair enough. All right, as I was looking at the list, James, I saw that you had Ryan Tannehill in the top 10 mark, where Chris, you had him just missing out that top 10 range. Now, I mean, with the new additions of guys like Julio Jones, why, Chris, I'm going to go to you first, but why do you see him missing out on that top 10 range when he has such a high-powered offensive receiving corpse now?
2 words, Derrick Henry, man. To be honest, I mean, he's going to eat a lot into what Ryan Tannehill is going to want to do. Yes, they did add Julio Jones, but again, that offense is still going to run the same way. I did wrestle with this one guy. He has the rushing upside, so he has the ability to put himself into that top 10. He's got the new weapon, like you said, in Julio Jones. He has a depleted defense that could put him in positive game script situations for garbage times. So I hesitantly put him outside the top 10, but for me, it was just the fact that one guy that they have in the backfield, everyone's talking about him beating the record with the extra game. So I think they're going to put a lot on Derrick Henry this year. He's entering the ride off into sunset for running back age. So they might just say, you know what, man, if you're getting close to the end of what you got, like let's give you the ball. So that's pretty much the only if Derrick Henry wasn't there, I would definitely have Ryan Tannehill in my top 10.
Okay, and then James, what about you? So are you not worried that Derrick Henry is going to take away that top 10 factor, or are you confident enough that you think Ryan Tannehill is going to be there for sure?
I mean, I did contemplate the Derrick Henry situation. I've just been looking at Derrick Henry's career. I don't think he's had a really big injury as of late. I'm not saying he's going to get injured by all means, and I'm not wishing upon any injury on top of anybody. I'm just looking at the odds and seeing the position he runs, and I know he's a linebacker running in the running back position, but I mean, he's getting older. There's 18 games this season, so there's obviously going to be a little bit more wear and tear on him having to run more.
17 games.
Sorry, it's 18 weeks. You're right. Yes. So I feel this is the season that Derrick Henry might have a little bit of a slip up, and he won't be, that Derrick Henry that you think he's going to be this season. I have him a little bit lower as well, and I think that's going to make Ryan Tannehill move up a bit. And adding Julio Jones, I think is going to reinvigorate Julio, and I believe that Julio is going to have a pretty good season as well this year, and definitely score more touchdowns than he did when he was in Atlanta last few seasons because they couldn't get him the ball in the end zone. Chris, what was his nickname when he was in Atlanta?
Touchdown Virgin.
Yes, right. I'm pretty sure he's going to no longer be called that by the end of this season. So, but we'll have to wait and see.
Do you think that an injury or a regression in Derrick Henry's play, don't you think that would be negative on Ryan Tannehill when defenses ultimately adjust trying to take away the pass? Because he's not an elite passer like some of these other guys on this list, right? So don't you think that a situation like that would be a negative thing for Ryan Tannehill?
It could be, but it also depends on what happens with that team. If they take that away, he's now got to throw. I mean, if you don't have Derrick Henry running the ball, there's extra garbage time that's going to come within that. And that's your favorite spot, of course, the garbage time at the end. And I just see, I could see him, using the throw a lot more than we think. And I have a funny feeling that they're going to incorporate that more for some reason this season than just running the ball down everyone's throat, because everyone's anticipating they're going to run the ball down everybody's throat. So I have a funny feeling they're going to mix it up a little more than we think. They're going to want to save Henry because if they do make the playoffs, they're going to need this man. And so they're not going to want to run him into the ground for all 18 of those weeks. So I have a funny feeling that there's going to be some more throwing than we think. And I think that's going to lead to him just sneaking into the top 10. And I've seen him a lot of people, a lot of places, there's sleeper this because he had a great finish to the season last year and he threw really well, put up some good points. I had him in a few leagues. He was with me to the playoffs and he did really well. I mean, he's a great quarterback too, and if he's in that top 10, he could be a quarterback one, especially in a one QB league to get him late where a lot of people aren't. Could be a steal.
I think that funny feeling was your dinner because teams have been anticipating Derrick Henry running for the past 3 seasons and haven't been able to stop it. So
no, they're anticipating that they may push back a little on that. So I think they're going to go the opposite way. But yes, I mean, I could be wrong and they could just throw Derrick Henry down their throat because it is his last season and go from there. We'll see. I think Tannehill's going to do a little better than what we're seeing in his numbers. But I mean, you didn't have him that far anyways. What did you have him
12?
at? 11? 12?
12, I think, yeah.
Okay, so we're
Yeah, we're
3
close.
spots off.
It's close, yeah.
That's not that far off, right?
Yep.
Oh.
All right, guys. Okay, so James, on your list, as you guys actually mentioned this guy's name already, but you have Big Ben Roethlisberger at the 15th position. And Chris, you have Big Ben. He actually just barely made your list.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that his age is finally hitting him and that he is not going to do as well as we've seen him do, even though last season he actually finished as the 13th best quarterback in the league? Do you think it's finally come where we're going to see Big Ben slide?
Well, I think this is his last year. I don't think he'll be back after this.
Like in the NFL?
At least not in not in Pittsburgh, at least. I think they're going to move on from him after this season, but we'll see. What did he have? Is he a 1-year contract or was it a 2-year that they put him for?
I think
this is his last season.
Yeah,
I think this is
This
his
is his
last
last,
year,
right? So,
Pittsburgh.
I mean, I think they were already contemplating it this year. We'll see how they finish, but I think Big Ben's going to go out there and just sling it like he normally does. He's got the 3 ridiculous wide receivers there that he can throw to still. He's got the option, the weapons are there. Everything's there for him to still do okay. Like you just said, he finished 13 last season, Nick, you said?
Yep, 13th overall.
I dropped him a little bit just because, obviously he's still a little bit older and whatnot, but I still think he'll put up some okay numbers. And I got him at 15. Chris got him at 20. And when you look at the overall points between 15 and 20, I don't know how much the difference is going to be, but I don't think it'll be that much between the two anyways. So yeah, I mean, I think he's probably, there's not many years left in the tank in that arm. So I assume after this season, he might even be gone from the NFL, Chris, depending on how he finishes.
Yeah, I mean, Ben's a guy that could easily reach 30 TDs. He's had 28 or more TDs in 4 of the last 5 seasons. To me, everything that I've been reading coming out of camp is that Pittsburgh's going to go towards more of a running offense, something that they lacked last season. So the reason why he was that high in the rankings or at the finish of last season was because that the Pittsburgh Steelers pretty much had no running game and they counted on Ben Roethlisberger a little bit more. So now with the addition of Naji Harris, I don't see them counting on the arm of Ben Roethlisberger that much this season. Again, he still can throw up to 30 TDs. He can still hit that mark. But like we said, from 1 to 6, the guys that go from 20 to 15, 20 to 14 can interchange very easily depending on how good or bad their teams are this season.
Fair enough. All right, guys, my last question for your quarterback rankings. You guys, I went through your list and there was actually 2 names that one guy had, but the other guy didn't, and then the other guy had, and one of you didn't. Those 2 names are Chris has Derek Carr at the 17th position, and James, you have Carson Wentz at the 17th position. Now, what made you think that the other guy that your other analysts had? So, James, what made you think that Derek Carr wasn't good enough for your list? And Chris, what made you think that Carson Wentz didn't really make your list?
I'll take this one here, James. I had Carson Wentz at the 20th spot, but the foot injury kind of hampered my rankings here. I adjusted based on what I've been reading coming out of camp. Everything is up in the air. The latest article I read today is that Wentz is going to rest up for a couple of days to see if he can battle through the injury and not get surgery. One of the things about his injury is that's going to limit his mobility, and his mobility is a big part of his offense as a quarterback. So I did have him originally on my list, and I took him out just based on the foot issue.
All right, fair enough. Chris, what about James? What about you with Derek Carr?
Yeah, I just, like I said, going through the quarterbacks that are there, Derek Carr was one of the guys I was looking at between 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. He's in that range there, but overall, I need to see a little more out of him this season in order for me to put him into my list. I didn't see enough last season.
Really?
Hopefully with these wide receivers, he does a little bit better this season and kind of, proves me wrong. But I mean, he also doesn't have the chemistry with the wide receivers yet. So, Ruggs is a guy that's on is he going to do better than what he did last year? Braylon Edwards is on that same sort of list there. So we'll see what they do. But I just feel he wasn't enough to get into my top 20 this season yet. So
just with Carr, you know what you're getting, right? You know you're going to get 3,700 to 4,100 passing yards. He's a guy that's not afraid to push the ball downfield. His progressive analytics, he ranks in the top 10 in a lot of that downfield passing in those categories. So he's a guy that you know what you're going to get. I don't know where you're coming from, where you don't know what you're going to get from him year in, year out. I mean, he's been pretty consistent.
I just don't think he'll be that way this season. We'll see.
We definitely will. We definitely will see. You're right there, James.
All right, guys, before we head to our running back list, do you guys have any questions or thoughts about each other's list that you want to, talk about before we head there?
Did you have Daniel Jones on your list, James?
Nope.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Is that personal? Because I tried to keep my personal preference out of the ranking. One of the quarterbacks I struggled with not putting on the list was Sam Darnold. I think he's going to have a decent year and enter that top 20. He didn't make your list either, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so he was a guy.
I thought of him as well. He was someone that I was thinking of too, where to put him. It's tough, man. I got to these numbers, and even when we get to the running backs, tight ends, wide receivers, the same situation. It's like you have so many you want to do. I think at one point, the running backs at least, or wide receivers, sorry. I mean, I was almost at 35, and I'm like, wait, I can only do 20 here because I had and where to put them. But even the quarterbacks, when you get to 16 to 25, there's that chunk. It's just a matter of who you, at that point, feel would be better than the other. I mean, Daniel Jones, Darnold are right after this. Derek Carr, they're literally right after these guys. I just feel these guys might do a little better this season than they will. By how much, I don't know. But in my eyes, I think these guys are there. I mean, Daniel Jones is in the 20 range. I don't think he's I think you had him 18?
Yeah,
Chris?
for me, it's his rushing upside, right? His rushing upside is what's going to put him above guys like Ben Roethlisberger and those in that, right? That's again with Jalen Hurts. But my thing with Jalen Hurts was I didn't think he was going to finish the year. One of the other surprises I saw on James's list is that he had Tom Brady 7.
Yes, sir.
And then Russell Wilson
outside the 10.
Outside the 10. That's
outside the 10.
Those caught me a little off guard. I mean, I know Tom Brady's the GOAT and all, but man, he's 43 years old. He just came off a torn meniscus. You think he's going to be able to withstand another season?
Yes. I
had him 10. So, yeah,
he's got the same team coming back. They got all the same wide receivers. The scheme he'll be able to go a second year with these guys. More trust, more chemistry. I could see him doing really well. And from what I was reading, they got a pretty good schedule this season too. So it's not as hard for a Super Bowl winning team as in the past. And I don't know. I'm really high on him. I got him, I think, on every team I have this season, and I think he's going to do really well.
Not in the one that I have him,
and not the one you have, yeah. And the reason why I don't have what's his face there? We were talking about Russell. Yeah. I think they're going to run the ball more, and they're not going to let him throw as much as they have last season and the season before, especially from what they're saying. And that just, to me, put him a little bit outside. And I don't think they improved the offensive line enough for him. And I think he's going to get sacked a ton again this season. And we'll see what happens. But, I mean, I don't have him too far outside. I think I had him at 11. So
those two were the most – those two caught me off guard. The Tom Brady and the Russ.
Looking at your list, I mean, aside from not putting Jalen Hurts on there at all, but you said that's because you don't think he's going to finish the season. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at them. We're not too far off. Burrow is one off. Tannehill's a few off. Lawrence, I have Lawrence a little bit lower than you do. You have him pretty high. What's that?
13.
13?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a little high for a rookie quarterback coming in. You think he's going to be a better than?
Well, Herbert finished 8 last season, right? And I think Lawrence with the full offseason with the weapons that he's got and the rushing upside he's got, he can enter the top 10. It's all possible, right?
Yeah, no, like I said, it was really hard for me too, man. I mean, and the difference between my 16 or 17, 18, whatever it is, and your 13, I mean, it could end up being 30 points on the whole season at the end of the day. Like, it all depends on where these guys are, right? Exactly. So it'll be really close to where they are, but those are our lists.
I must say, I got to add something here. I'm kind of upset that, James is a Cowboys fan. You didn't put Dak Prescott higher. And Chris, with the Saints fan, had to put him higher than you. I mean, what's going on here, James? Come on.
You know what? That was just, I like the other guys a little bit more than Dak, and we'll see. I mean, he had him at 3 and I had him at 5, so it's not like it's that far of a difference here either. So.
Still top
3 to 5, and that could be a lot of points. Anyways,
I hope so. I do.
All right, let's get on to our running back list. Chris, I let you go first last time, so James, why don't you go first this time in introducing your running back list to us?
Sure. All right. So at number 1, Lamar Miller. Oh wait, no, that was not the.
At least got the right position.
Call back there. Okay.
We're gonna do number 1, Christian McCaffrey from Carolina. Number 2, Alvin Kamara from New Orleans Saints. Number 3, Dalvin Cook from Minnie. Number 4, Derrick Henry from Tennessee. Number 5, Ezekiel Elliott from my Cowboys. Number 6, Aaron Jones from the Packers. 7, Austin Eckler from the Chargers. 8, Nick Chubb from Cleveland. 9, Jonathan Taylor from Indy. 10, David Montgomery from Chicago. 11, Saquon Barkley from the Giants. 12, Antonio Gibson. Yeah, that's right. Antonio Gibson from Washington. 13, Myles Gaskin from Miami. 14, Naji Harris from Pittsburgh. 15, Joe Mixon from Cincy. 16, J.K. Dobbins from Baltimore. 17, Josh Jacobs from the Raiders. 18, Clyde Edwards-Helaire from KC. 19, Miles Sanders from Philly. And 20, Deandre Swift from Detroit.
All right. Chris, what about you?
Man, this list, out of the 4 that we made, I mean, this list had so much shuffling outside of the guy at number 1, and even the guy at number 1 I put at number 2 at one point. But my number 1, like James, is Christian McCaffrey, Darius Sanders from the Carolina Panthers. Number 2, I got Alvin Kamara from the New Orleans Saints. Number 3, I got Dalvin Cook for Minnesota Vikings. Let me just preface this list by saying that these are based on half-point PPR, a half-point PPR league. So the pass-catching abilities of some of these guys is going to put them above of some of the others. So at number 4, I got Tractorcito, Derrick Henry from the Tennessee Titans. Number 5, Ezekiel Elliott from the Dallas Cowboys. Number 6, I got Saquon Barkley from the New York Giants. 7, I got Nick Chubb from the Cleveland Browns. At number 8, I have JT, Jonathan Taylor from the Indianapolis Colts. Number 9, I have Nick's guy, Naji Harris from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Number 10, I have Austin Eckler, the PPR machine out of the Los Angeles Chargers. 11, out of Green Bay, I got Aaron Jones. Number 12, I did say that this guy, I do have a bet with James that this guy is going to finish above Jonathan Taylor at the end of the season. I do still kind of believe that, but when making these rankings, I had to bring everything into effect. At number 12, I have Antonio Gibson of the Washington football team.
Me too.
Number 13, I have Clyde Edwards-Helaire from the Kansas City Chiefs. At number 14, I have Joe Mixon from the Cincinnati Bengals. At number 15, I have DeAndre Swift of the Detroit Lions. 16, out of Baltimore, J.K. Dobbins. 17, Philadelphia Eagles, Miles Sanders. 18, David Montgomery from the Chicago Bears. 19, Josh Jacobs from the Las Vegas Raiders. And number 20, this one I shuffled numerous times, Chris Carson from the Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
Hey, we had some really close ones there. The first 5 are the same. That's impressive.
You guys actually had 7 matching results, so that's not bad.
Nice.
Clearly, your running back preferences are kind of more similar than your quarterback ones that only had 2. So, but all right, yeah, not bad list, gentlemen. I can tell that the running back position would be a hard one to create, especially how crazy the running backs can get. But just like with the quarterback one, I made some questions for you about your running backs. So why don't we get to our first one? When James said this name when he was reading his list, you saw Chris's reaction. So, Chris, you have New York Giants running back Saquon Barkley at the number 6 spot. And James, you have him at the 11th spot. Chris, why don't you tell us why Saquon Barkley is going to be trustworthy, even though he's coming off of 2 seasons being hurt and his coach saying that he's probably going to be on a limited usage rate. So why do you see him as trustworthy?
Sure, just steal my notes out of my head.
Yeah, exactly. They said he's going to be on a limited usage rate at the beginning, but once they see what they really have in Saquon, once Joe Judge really sees the effect on the defenses and the effect on his offense, when Saquon Barkley is in his lineup as opposed to whoever the backup is it Devonta Booker there? No.
Yeah, I think it's Booker,
right? It's Devonta Booker
correct,
there. They're gonna handle his workload from the beginning, but when all said and done, I mean, the guy's a dog. He's built different. I can't wait to see the comeback tour that he's gonna go on. Number 11 in James's list is absolutely atrocious. I could have had him. I was gonna put him in the top 5. I mean, it's so tricky. All these guys are good backs, but it's the reports out of camp that are holding me back a little bit. They're weighing me down in my decisions. But outside the top 10 to me is just ludicrous.
Well, I like to definitely cause a little stir in some conversation, so that's what I've done here. But I personally I've said it from the beginning that since we started this podcast, I don't think the Giants are going to be good this year. I think they're going to have quarterback issues, which is going to lead to running back issues. We've already seen they're going to put Saquon on a limited basis. I'm also wondering, is he fully 100% yet? Like every time they ask him, his first response is, we'll have to wait and see, or we'll get to there, and he never really answers the question.
Playing his cards to his chest.
That's fine, and that very well may be, and I could be completely wrong on that. And if I am, I am. But I mean, it's like, well, why wouldn't you say you're 100% right now? Why wouldn't why are you now on a limited basis? Which again, that's what the coach is obviously going to say, because any injury player, you're not going to say we're going to throw him out there right away 100%. And I mean, he has gotten injured 2 seasons in a row, and it is a longer season this year. They want to keep the running back healthy. I think the high end that he used to be, I don't think it'll be this season. I think it'll take him about a season to get back to where he is. Maybe by end of season, he's running on all cylinders. I just don't see it right out the gate. And I think that's going to put a little damper in his fantasy numbers, and he's going to be a little lower. I mean, you already had him at 6, and he should be
a little lower outside the top 10. I think so, a little.
I think he's going to be lower than that. Yeah, I do.
Lower than your 11?
No, I think he'll finish out of the top 10. That's where I got him, out of the top 10. I just don't think he'll be I don't think the full season you'll see the real Saquon this year, and I think it'll take time.
Fair.
Okay. All right, let's get to my next question. Last year's running back 4 on the season was Chicago Bears' David Montgomery. Now, he actually helped a lot of fantasy teams win their championships, but both of you have him barely making the top 10 list this year. Now, why do you guys think that David Montgomery is not going to be in the top 10 after what we saw in that second half of the season last year and how he helped the fantasy teams make that push?
I think I have him at 10, but that's,
barely making the top 10.
That's 10. That's the
Okay.
top 10 is 10. 10 is top 10, but that's okay. Maybe we'll teach you numbers later.
You're at 10 and Chris is outside of the 10. So
yeah,
why is he? Yes. Why is he outside? Or why is he just making that cut?
Chris, you want to go first? You want me to
Sure,
go first?
yeah, I'll take the lead here. I mean, it's plain and simple. Last year, David Montgomery had a lot of things to go right for him. Tariq Cohen went down, shoddy QB play. They were weighing on him heavily in the offense. The back end of the schedule was running back friendly. That's what helped him put him up into that top category. If you look at the beginning of his season, he wasn't that guy that he was when he finished. Now you got Tariq Cohen coming back. You got Damian Williams in the backfield who has a relationship with Nagy. You got Justin Fields who might take over the job for the quarterback in the Chicago Bears, a guy that runs himself. So that'll take away from David Montgomery's carries. And when you're breaking down a top 10 per se, who do you take out of that top 10 to put David Montgomery in there when all said and done? Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable taking Saquon Barkley out of there. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking a guy like Austin Eckler. I wouldn't feel comfortable taking any of the guys in my top 10 out of that top 10 to put David Montgomery in there, knowing that the situation that he had last year went perfectly for him in order for him to finish as what'd you say he was, RB4, Nick? RB4.
Yep,
so
RB4.
He's going to need a lot to go right for him again this season in order for that to happen.
Yeah, a lot of those things Chris said are same reason why I have him lower than RB4, obviously. I still have him in the top 10 at 10. But I mean, to put up the 25, 26 fantasy points a game that he was putting up down the stretch to help me win a championship or two, I don't think I see that this season. But I can. I mean, Matt Nagy's come out and said that, it's all feasible that he could be running 20 to 22 touches a game. And if he's still getting the 20 to 22 touches a game, and as long as he stays on the field, I mean, he could be in that 10, 12 range there. I have him at 10, thinking that he'll get that and get the touches over the other guys, and we'll see. But that's another reason why I've got him at least there. But he will drop. I mean, there's other running backs coming in, like he said, in Cohen and Williams there. So obviously he will lose a little bit, but. Well, and now with a better quarterback, depending on it being Dalton, who I'm hearing rave reviews about as well, and or Justin Fields, they're probably going to throw the ball a little bit more, and we'll see. But that's why I'm a little bit lower.
So you're saying I should probably be putting David Montgomery on the block and sell as high as I can right now.
Sell high, brother.
Sell high. Yeah. If you can't get anything for him, get it now.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's flip it around a bit. So our first question, we had Chris ranking a guy at 6 and James at 11. But for this one, we have James ranking a running back at 6 and Chris has him at 11. We're talking about Aaron Jones from the Green Bay Packers. With the Packers pretty much having the same offenses last year, having Aaron Rodgers come back, signing Aaron Jones to this huge contract, and Devontae Adams still there, why are we seeing Aaron Jones fall out of the top 10, Chris? What you got there?
For me, when I was constructing this top 10, I took into account opportunity. I took into account the pass catching. I took into account the offensive schemes. Everything for Aaron Jones is pretty much the same, except his offensive line has degraded a little bit. They lost the all-pro center. They lost another guy, I think, on the left side. Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Hell Hath No Fury Like a Woman scoring tour this season. So I think a lot of what's going to be going on is going to be done by the arm of Aaron Rodgers. That with the fact that the Green Bay Packers do love A.J. Dillon. He's going to eat into a lot of that red zone carries. So for me, looking into the future, trying to predict what I believe is going to be the end of the season for these guys, I had Aaron Jones just outside the top 10, just based on a regression in touchdowns.
Okay. Very interesting. James, you have any words on Aaron Jones that you want to say there?
Chris brings up good points. I mean, those are some good things there. I mean, I believe the carries that they're going to give over to
AJ Dillon.
tree trunk legs there. What's his name? AJ Dillon are going to come from what Williams used to have. So I think those carries will cover up there. And could he take over red zone carries away from him? That we could see, depending. I mean, we really didn't get it to know what they were going to do last season because Aaron Jones was hurt and they gave the ball to AJ Dillon and he ran really well. I just think Aaron Jones has still got his role. They gave him his money. He's going to do what he's going to do, and I think they're going to be up a lot of games and they're going to run the ball with him, and I think he's going to still be where he's supposed to be by end of season. So,
all right, very good. The first running back selected in this year's draft is no other than Naji Harris going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, I like the guy. I know you guys have talked about him already. But what makes you guys think that, actually, both of you have him cracking that top 15 range. So what makes you guys think that he will do that in his rookie season, especially knowing that Pittsburgh is such a high throwing team? And I mean, last year, like you said, they were pretty much non-existent in the run game. So what makes you think that he can crack that still?
like Chris has said in the past, they're going to probably rely on the run a lot more this season, depending on what they know out of Big Ben's arm. Will it be enough? And past Pittsburgh teams have done this, where they like to rely on their one running back and use them often. And I think they found their guy. They really like Najee, and I think he can do it all. And I mean, I was contemplating, should he be higher or lower? I know, Chris, you got him higher than I do. I think at 9,
Yeah,
right?
it
It was
9.
hard. I was debating, how high can I go and whatnot. The Pittsburgh offensive line is a little scary for me. They did get a little bit worse than they were, and I don't know if that's going to play a huge part. It did kind of where I have them. Could it be too low? Maybe. But I mean, I do got him at 14, so I'm not too far off. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I got him at 9. I think they're going to ask him to do a lot. He has been struggling in pass protection in camp. There has been reports of that. So that's been my biggest knock, Nick. I've mentioned that to you for him coming into the NFL, that is one of his weaknesses. And it's been shown that in the NFL, if you can't protect the prize piece, if you cannot protect the quarterback, you're going to get a limited amount of snaps. So, that could cause Najee Harris to drop drastically. But if he does work on that, if he picks it up, he is a great pass catcher. We've seen it in Alabama. We've seen it in some of the training camp stuff. So that's pretty much the reason why I have him in the top 10 is his pass catching abilities. Again, I don't think they're going to ask too much out of Ben Roethlisberger this year. So he's going to have a running back that he's going to easily be able to dump it down to when his faulty offensive line crashes down on him.
All right. Well, my last question for the running backs is, I basically looked at your lists and I saw that there was an outlier, at least in my opinion, that didn't crack either of your lists.
Ooh.
He was the number 8 overall running back last year, and he plays for the Jacksonville Jaguars. His name is James Robinson. And I understand that they went and drafted Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne, but what makes you guys think that James Robinson will not be able to crack the top 20 list after the huge season we saw from the undrafted rookie last year?
I have him as running back 24. It's just a bunch of the unknown coming out of that offense where I just don't know what is going to happen. I'm basing my analysis on Coach Urban Meyer's past coaching styles and situations like that where he likes to run an RBBC. I believe Travis Etienne is going to eat a lot of the pass catching downs, and Carlos Hyde's going to come in to relieve some of the workload. So he's not going to have that snap share that he had last season, which was ridiculous. But he's definitely going to hold some value this season. But I can't see a guy that I'm taking out of this top 20 to put in James Robinson where he would fit in, where he plays in a heavy RBBC, what I think he's going to play in a heavy RBBC over some of these guys that are projected to be workhorse running backs.
Yeah,
It's
I
me.
agree with Chris on that. I mean, I'm in the same boat. It was hard to see where he would go, but it's just the unknown. I mean, I've heard him say he's going to use all three running backs as much as possible. So it's like if you see that already coming in, and the fact that he had 90 something percent share last year,
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
it's just hard to say that he's going to do that again or even close to that. And I just I mean, again, you know me and my draft stock value. You don't draft a running back in round one if you don't intend to use him. And maybe he didn't know what he had. Maybe he doesn't believe in Robinson. We have no idea. Maybe he just really wants to run three running back headed horse the whole season. I mean, that it very well could be. And if they do that, that's going to hurt whoever starts him and drafts him early, as if you're looking at last season's totals.
Well, that really pains me. I mean, I have James Robinson on my team. I didn't want to hear those things. Okay.
I own a lot of him too, Nick. It hurts, buddy. It hurts, but you got to be a truth. You got to be a realist sometimes, man.
Man,
I traded him away anywhere that I had him, so I'm glad I did that.
I thought at least, this year, sure, Travis Etienne's a rookie. We got a chance this year for him to still be decent, but I mean, sheesh. Anyways, those are our lists for quarterbacks and running backs. Let us know what you guys think, how we did, if you change anything, maybe some of your rankings. But be sure to check out our other episodes on anywhere you stream your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. If you check on YouTube, you'll actually see live visuals of our lists. So that's a nice feature that you can see as well. Be sure to check out our other videos on YouTube as well, our 5 minutes. And don't forget to follow us on our social medias. On Instagram at The Option Podcast, on Twitter at The Option Pod, and on TikTok at The Option Fantasy Football. We hope you all have a good night, everybody, and we will see you next time.
We're posting our lists on Instagram as well, so check them out there for the podcast listeners.
Yes, right. We will. Do you agree with us? Disagree with us? Let us know with a comment below, or even reach out to us and DM us.